absolutely amazing. And he talked about, we don't just say that this is a great business. We also have things that backs it up. And it says the way you find out if a business is a great business is by asking discovery questions, because questions lead you to answers. Is that true? Good questions, are important to ask constantly in your life, in your marriage, in your business, in everything, right? Lousy questions build a lousy life. Good questions could build a good life. What could be some of the lousy questions? Well, what would be a lousy question? Right? Why isn't this working? Why is it so hard? Why doesn't nobody want to start a business with me? Why can Chandler do it and I can't? That's a lousy question. What would be a great question? Yeah, let me go ask, right? Let me go pick somebody's brain and ask, how did you do it? How did you get a business partner in New York? How did you do it? Or what can I do to become better, right? That's why, Flora mentioned alignment, because sometimes your leaders see things in you that you may not necessarily see in yourself. So sometimes, and if you're not aligned, you could be on the wrong track and not know it. Does that make sense? You don't know you're going the wrong direction unless somebody points it out to you. So it's very, very important. But these questions could help you in prospecting. These questions could help you in you yourself affirming and realizing that what you got is the best, so you kind of stop looking, because that wastes energy. Does that make sense? But at the same time, it kind of makes you stand for something. You know what I mean? Because how many of you have seen business partners that start and then a week later they're gone?
Yes.
I mean, right? They're like almost in a witness protection program. You cannot find them for the life of you, right? Like literally, the phone's disconnected. You drive by the house, there's like empty, like there's a yellow tape around the house, right? They're like, what happened? Right? They could have just aliens came and just took them, right? That happens, yes? And most of the time, when you actually run into these people in a grocery store and they try to hide from you, oh, they found me, right? They're like, oh, yeah, and they try to make all kinds of excuses, but most of the time it's because they let somebody else steal their dream. That's the bottom line. They let somebody else influence them. There's two types of influence, negative and positive. Unfortunately, I don't know why, people are more influenced by the negative than they are by the positive. Right? They could have, like, they go to a convention, they see 30, 40,000 people winning. And then some person that has never done anything in his life, right, never accomplished anything, says one negative thing, and that becomes the deciding factor whether they move forward or not. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane. So this is for you to affirm first and foremost to you by answering these questions. And I'm not answering them for you, you answer, right? I'm going to just give you the questions, but write these down or take a picture. So again, when people bring stuff up, you have, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? Does that make sense? And then that way you know. And if you're strong, my thing isn't even for you to try to go and make everybody else see what you see. As long as you see it, you're strong, you got a backbone, right? You're not going to fall apart with every little thing. Then you're going to have some strong, again, standards for yourself, and you're going to win on the highest level possible. If that wasn't the case for us, you guys, Jack and I should never have stayed. Does that make sense? Because everybody around us was trying to kill us out of the business. Everybody. Starting from the closest people to somebody that we've never even met, maybe we saw them once in a wedding, all of a sudden had an opinion. Not kidding. I'm not kidding, right? And like even, the closest person to me is my brother, right? Aside from Jack. And he was the most negative person. I remember he even called me. I picked up the phone. I just said hello. I didn't even finish the hello. And he starts reading all these negative comments. I'm like, what? It took me a minute to realize what's happening. What is he reading? Like, what is he talking about? And then I realized he's talking about my business. And I started crying, right? Because I wasn't strong back then. I was like the weakest person ever. So I start crying. I'm like, oh my God, my brother. Right? And then I pick up the phone and I go complain to my mom. And my mom's like, well, he's right. And she knows. Like, I was like, oh, I can't talk to her either, right? And then what happened? And then I realized, wait a minute, this is my life. He can't take something away from me that he has no clue about. Does that make sense? He can't. And I made a decision, and Jack and because he constant, like every time I would see him, it was over and over, like same thing, boom, boom, boom. And I made a decision, and I stood strong, and even though like inside I was like shaking because I look up to my brother and all that, and I said, you know what, you have no right from this point on to talk about my business, period. Those words are never going to come out of your mouth ever again. You have no right, I don't give you permission. And he's like, what? And that was it. And he listened. Why? Because I stood up for myself, right? Most of the time, why people keep pounding on you is because you don't stand up for what you believe in. Does that make sense? And it's not about, I didn't try to convince him that this is good. I didn't try to make him get in the business with me. I just said, you have no right to take this away from me. Leave me alone. That's it. See, that's what we try to do. We think we have to convince them, and then we drain ourselves, and we completely lose our, mental images and all that stuff, and start thinking like they do, because they start influencing us. No, I don't want to convince you. I'm just going to show you how much I believe in this, right? And I remember when we did the 100,000, nothing happened. He still was negative, but when we passed our $250,000, he actually invited Jack and I to dinner with his wife, right? So we go out to dinner, and he's like so sad, like he's just sitting there, like, and he's trying to tell me something. I'm like, what is he gonna say? Like, what happened, right? And then I'm ready for it, right? Like, and then he starts apologizing. He's like, I can't believe what I could have done to you and your family if you had listened to me. And I stopped him right there, and I said, listen, if I listened to you, it wouldn't have been on you, it would have been on me, because it still would have been my choice. See, we can't blame other people. Oh, so-and-so did it for me. No. You chose to listen to that person. You chose to take that path. Don't you ever put this on no one. It's still up to you. Does that make sense? So I didn't even let him move forward. I said, listen, right? You made me see how strong I am, and that was a great lesson for me, so thank you. And second of all, don't ever apologize, because if, again, I did it, then it would have been on me, not you. But he just realized he had a thing, like, wait a minute, can you imagine what I could have taken away from my sister, right? The life, the thing that, and I was just $250,000. Does that make sense? Look at how much we've been able to accomplish since then, and the amount of people that we've been able to kind of touch and put some kind of an impact for. It's not just about me. Does that make sense? So think about these questions, you guys, and know for certain that what you are it's world class. Because if you look at these questions and you realize all the answers to the questions, you will realize that, man, this is just one of the greatest things that ever existed, because you don't have to hurt other people to get ahead. All you got to do is be a good person, love people, treat them well, and do what's right 100% of the time. Bottom line, is that a good business if that's what you have to do to win?
Yes.
Yeah, and take a bunch of people with you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Look at that. So, let's go. Number one, does what you do make a major difference in other people's lives? We just talked about that. Does what, and ask yourself, even if you've never, had a client that has filed a claim or took money out of their accounts, or even if you've never, ever came to this point yourself, you still have put assets into somebody's home. See, when you walk into somebody's house, they may have nothing. Even with just a small little protection, you walk out with them already having an estate. Does that make sense? Millions of dollars at times. Is that true? We've had so many business partners, even some, that have filed claims, that have gotten money. Otherwise, if that wasn't the case, the family would have been a complete disaster. Makes sense? So, do what you do and answer yourself, is what I'm doing making a difference in people's lives? Right? If yes, then it's a good business. Make sense? Next one. Is it a licensed profession? Why is that important? Because that kind of takes away the concept that this could ever possibly be a scam or something illegitimate. Does that make sense? Anything that has a license is what? Audited, is reviewed, is monitored. You do something wrong, you're done. You're not just done from this business. They will completely take your license away, and you will never ever be able to work in a professional field for the rest of your life. Does that make sense? So if it's a licensed business, then that means it's a legitimate business. Makes sense? Never listen to anybody else. Can you make a great living personally marketing the products? Even if, let's say, you don't like the recruiting part, right? Some people don't like recruiting. Well, you have to bring people. No. Just keep it to yourself, right? You don't have to. Can you make money by yourself? Yeah. Yes. That's a good business. If I could. So it's not a pyramid structure, or one of those multi-level things where you actually have to recruit people and you make money off of the recruit. Does that make sense? And you have to buy the product, store it in your garage, right? And you have to continuously keep doing it. Do we have to do any of that stuff? No. That's crazy. Do you make money when you recruit people? No. Right? You could have 100,000 new business partners tomorrow. You will not make a dime. Does that make sense? Why? Because we're not one of those weird deals. This is a legitimate business. You have to help people make money, and the company will compensate you, not that person. Nothing will ever come out of somebody's pocket. And think about this. The person that's all the way at the top that's making $14 million right now, that has to tell you something, right? He was recruited into somebody else's team. Can you imagine if it was one of those people that, oh, this is one of those things, and quit? $14 million right now he's earning, and he was in somebody else's base shop, right? You went to the same steps that you're going through right now, and look at so all of us have the same exact opportunity. Does that make sense? Look at the next one. Does it have residual or recurring revenue, right? Because you want to have an exit strategy. Does that make sense? What's the point of doing something and then the minute you stop, it ends? As good as, let's say, real estate is, as good as, let's say, any other business is, the minute that person stops selling, the income stops. Or is it a different type of business that I don't know of, right? Let's say the real estate business says, every time your client walks into their home, you get paid. Residual income, cha-ching, right? Every time they open the door, you get paid. No, right? You sold them the house one time, you only get paid one time. Insurance and investments doesn't work like that, right? You get residual passive income every year. You build a big book of business, and that's how it is everywhere. That's how it is in banks. That's how it is in Merrill Lynch. That's how it is in Charles Schwab. This is not a weird deal. Makes sense, right? The only thing is, when you're working for a financial institution and you're not the owner, who do you think gets those residuals?
The owner.
Yes. Every time, when I was working at a bank, every time my new accounts rep would open a new account, I would get 25 cents. I knew I was going to get rich eventually, right? So residual recurring income, man, build this, like, put 10 years of your life, build something amazing. You stop for the rest of your life. Not only you're getting recurring income through your passive income from your business, but also from the clients, portfolios. Next one. Is it level and fair for women and men from all walks of life? That's a good business if it's fair, right? It's not fair if somebody's making more money than the other person based on their gender. Are you crazy? Right? That's why they said at the convention even, right? Most corporations pay for the title. They don't pay people. They look at you like, you could be the best worker or whatever, but what does your title say? So, and most of the time, if you look at the jobs, the supervisor is actually doing more work than, let's say, the manager or the owner. Is that true?
Yes.
But who's getting paid more?
The owner.
Exactly. So based on title, not person. Here, you get paid based on a person, not the title. We could have a trainee associate that's making more money than a senior marketing director. Title means absolutely nothing. Is that true? It's what you do with that that matters. Next one. Do the biggest field leaders have something you can't get? Oof, I love this one. I already mentioned it. Is there something that's available to someone that isn't available for a new guy? Is there? You answer me. What do you think? No, and from day one, you walk in, you could actually go to the compensation spread and chart and see what you need to do from today as a trainee to get all the way to the top, right? Can you imagine doing that at a job? You walk in and say, hey, what do I need to do to get your job? What do I need to do to own this place? Come on, tell me. What will they do to you?
Fire you.
You're a threat, man. We gotta get rid of
Fired.
this person, right?
You're fired.
You're fired, exactly. Are you trying to tell you? Are you telling me that you want my position? You're out. Makes sense? So here, there's nothing that you can't have that somebody else has. Can you out-earn those who introduced you to the business?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. We're proof of that. Makes sense? And so many other leaders, like right now, we have, the individual that started like the Glendale office, like Bart Balikian, some of you know, he was like the first Armenian that was recruited in the company. And, he has now executive vice chairman, CEOs, he's just a SMD. He has all, and again, he's getting overrides, yeah, he's making over $500,000, but he has people in his team that are making way more than he is. Does that make sense? Just because he brought those individuals into the business doesn't mean you own them. You could completely pass the person that introduced you. Do you own it or do you serve at someone else's pleasure? Is it something that you own, that it's yours? Or are you working for someone else's pleasure? Now ask yourself that question quietly and think about it for a second and let it sink in. Let it marinate. How many of you get up every morning and go work for someone else's pleasure? Don't raise your hand. It's okay. You already know. Right? And think about that. Now you have enough, and that's okay. It's okay to be there, right? We all work, but it's not okay to stay there. It's okay to wake up one day and say, wait, I deserve this too. I don't want to work for someone else's pleasure for the rest of my life. I could do that temporarily while I build mine. Make sense? But you have to put time, you guys. You can't put all your effort into a job that's a dead end and not put any time on your business and expect it to work. It's an illusion. Is that true?
Yes.
When you really think about it, like right now, evaluate how much effort, time, energy, everything I got, I put in my job, and what are they paying me, and what will I be? Where would I be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Will it ever get me to a point where I'm like, oh, I reached it, I got it, financially, emotionally, everything? Will you ever get to a point where you're completely satisfied? Most likely, probably not, because again, you don't even know if you'll have the job 20 years from now, right? It's not up to you. Is that true? Yeah. Now, how much time am I putting on something, and how much effort am I putting on something that could give me unlimited income, unlimited growth, right? No territory restriction, none of that stuff. Is the scale balanced? What do you think?
No.
Huh?
No.
Nope. So we need to make some priority changes. Is that true? I'm not saying leave this, keep that, but also prioritize this in your life so it's not a side hobby, and then you quit and say the business didn't work. True? So, do you own it?
Yes.
Yes. Are you guys excited?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. Now, can you be terminated without cause? That's a good question to ask of somewhere that you're working, right? What do you think? Can you be terminated without cause anywhere else?
Yes.
Can you be terminated without cause here? No. Because who's the owner? You. And you know which way you get terminated here? Only if you do something illegal. That's the only way you will ever lose this opportunity. If you cheat and lie, steal or do something illegal when it comes to people's money. And that's, again, it's crazy to me when I think about that and then hear is this a scam? You understand? Like literally, when you when you even get your securities license, they monitor even your bank accounts to make sure you're not doing anything illegal. Does that make sense? How tight the system is to make sure you're doing the right thing. And think about this for a second. Every time the founder of the company that has built like millions of people, Rich Dolly, gets on stage, what does he talk about? What does he talk about? How do we increase sales? How do we get to, let's say, more billions of dollars? How do I make more money? Does he talk about that stuff? No. Have you ever heard him even talk about numbers or, again, like how much profit the company has made? No. The only thing he ever talks about, those of you that have never met him, Rich Dolly, right? The only thing is strength in character, strength in character, strength in character. Do the right thing, do the right thing, do the right thing. Monty Home got up on stage at the convention, said, don't use people and love things. Love people and use things. Imagine a message like that coming from a person that supposedly, is trying to get something from you. But they were recruited just like you, right? They're not at the top just because they were lucky. They did the work. Does that make sense? So it gives me a sense of peace knowing that no one can take this away from me as long as I do the right thing. That makes sense? Is that awesome? Right? You don't go to sleep at night and pray, oh my God, what if I get fired tomorrow? Oh, there's layoffs in the office. What if it's me? Oh, every time your supervisor asks you to go see them, you're afraid of what they're going to tell you. Is that crazy? I remember getting emails like that, right? Like, oh, come see me at such and such time. I'm already like the whole day. I'm like, what do I do, right? And then you go something stupid. Like, no, you ruined my whole day. You could just tell me now. But that's crazy. That's no way to live. Now, can you piggyback your business with big companies, with big names, credibility, and world-class products? Yes. Look at all the companies that we're actually aligned with, you guys. Think about that for a second, right? We showed that slide during Fast Start, right? Almost $1 trillion companies are aligned with you and they're begging you to do business with them. Does that tell you that it's a good business? Yes. Yes. So when somebody comes, it's so funny, right? Like an 18-year-old broke, there's no money in a bank account, and says, I have to think about it. In your mind, you're like, let me get this straight. Like, I have to go do my research. What research? You don't even have anything for anyone to take from you. Make sense? You're broke. Somebody's giving you a shot. And we have all these other companies that have already done their research before they align themselves to us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you think Aegon did their research before they purchased WFG? Right? 150-year-old company, over $550 billion in assets. You think they did their research, you guys? I think so, right? Is there wide diversification of products and services to meet customer needs? I can't hear you.
Yes.
This side is quiet. I can't hear you guys at all.
Yes.
Oh, now I hear you. Thank you. Because you know what happens with me? I just get louder. So you have to help me. All right. So we have diversification and products and services. Is that true?
Yes.
So it's not one size fits all. Especially now, Crumb. You know, a lot more products are available, and they're actually advancing. So much more opportunity. And every day, something's getting better and better. We just got an email yesterday that we're going to have a conference call with the president of the company. I believe on the 12th of September, I'm not sure exactly date, but it says you don't want to miss this call, some exciting announcements. So every time there's a conference call, every time there's an announcement, it's always good news. It's always something good. You don't have to be afraid of, what are they going to tell me? Right? It's exciting. Can they cut or limit your territory?
No.
Now, would that be a good business if they could do that? No, right? They tell you this is the only, your customers cannot be outside of this, right? I remember one time I had a client, we were back like maybe 2-3 years in a business. She called me and she said, because somebody introduced her to me that we do financial services, she's like, I need help, because I called this one financial services company, and before I could even set up a time, the lady on the phone asked for my zip code, and I thought that was a strange question. I said, what do you need my zip code for, right? I'm trying to set up a time because I want to come open accounts with you guys, right? And she had gotten like $500,000 inheritance from a life insurance claim from her father. So she has $500,000, right? So the lady on the phone says, what's your zip code? And she gives her zip code, and she was I don't remember where she lived, but anyways, the financial institution, I won't mention the name, said, we don't serve that area because it's a lower end market. And no idea that she has $500,000 sitting in her bank account and she's ready to start.
Oh my goodness.
Is that crazy? You judge people based on their zip codes? It's insane. Do we do that stuff? Both ways, right? We don't discriminate people, and we don't have any restrictions on where we can go. Makes sense? So it's absolutely open. Look at all these people that stood up here that have business partners somewhere else. Is that crazy? I'm excited. I don't know about you.
Yes.
Can you build a team to multiply yourself? Right? You don't want to do it. You don't want to be the lonely only. Can you build a team? Right? There's no such thing as self-made millionaire anymore. It's team-made millionaire. Is that true? No company out there is successful because of one person. It's always a team. If you go study Mark Zuckerberg, he's talking about the success of Facebook was because he recruited the right people. And yes, he does use the word recruit. It's not a bad word. It's an awesome word, right? Because recruit means you're giving somebody else the same exact opportunity as you have. Make sense?
Yes.
Can you multiply yourself? Think about this for a second, you guys. We have Arsen and Marietta right here. They came to this office, no market. Can you guys come on up here really fast? Bill and Ann? Look at the power of multiplication and duplication, okay? So how many years in the business? 2 years and 4 months, okay. So they came in, how long were you in the country when you came?
11 months.
So only in United States for 11 months. You guys hearing this, yes? Did you have a lot of family members, like hundreds of people that were waiting for you in US?
There's not. My uncle fully broke, and his two kids fully broke.
Fully broke. Her whole family was 2 people and fully broke. Did they give you field trainings?
No. Actually, because of my amazing Michelle, she told me, you know what, we can just drop by there. Like, there is no other people, okay? I just one uncle, 2 people, like. So in any cases, I have to get some training because I was obsessed to learn. So, and I called my uncle and said, you know what, I need like a doctor, like kind of like things. Can I come and get it? Because I will be at the field training next to you in the Hollywood. and it might be with my business coach. So yeah, of course you can come and drop this. Okay. So when I came with Michelle, so hello, and we just sit down, and there was no presentation, but there was like just connection and edifying what actually I'm trying to start to do, because he was super negative. He told me, if you're gonna start a WG, you can forget that you have an uncle. So that's okay, I can forget that I have my uncle. So
And you actually called your dad in Russia to try to tell that your daughter has lost her mind.
yes, and he thought like, your daughter like highly educated. She a judge in the country, but she came and doing the insurance things and go to the houses. So that was crazy. My dad called me back saying, I know whatever you're doing, this is right, but can you answer for 3 questions?
So look at this, you guys. I love this part because her dad asked her 3 questions because he's a business-minded individual. That if you answer these questions and based on the answer, I'll tell you if you should continue or not. So 3 again questions.
Yeah, and actually he and his brother like totally like opposite people. Like and he asked me like, first one, why did people want to get exactly from you your service? Why? I said, because I have Amy. So all the my the competitors, they work for me. So I have any like service that I have in the market. So I have the best one. I said, okay, it makes sense. Second question was, can you have the ownership with the company? So it's yours or you work for somebody? I say, of course I have, I'm gonna have the ownership because there's opportunity to grow the highest level. So it's up to me. It's not for someone. No one can promote me or not. It's up to me. And third one is, there is some possible for making passive income. So yes, yes, because he's a wife. He works so hard. He's building business like super hard. That's why I hate the business actually. So, but he never has the system for passive income. There's only real estate. Actually everyone knows, right? So he's like, you know what? Forget whatever the people, especially your uncle told you. Go forward. You have the all support from me and anyone. Don't worry about it. And he called the uncle. You know what? Shut up. You have to see opportunity. Yes. So that's how actually the filter.
So you went from no one, but then you guys have always been one of the top personal recruiters in the organization. So what were you guys doing?
First thing is coachability. There is no, in my business, there is nothing that Michelle and Edward didn't know or doesn't know. They know everything. It's not only my business. All our life, start the big decisions, expenses, everything. They know everything. I call them every day. There is no such a thing if I'm not talking with my leaders. I'm fully aligned and coachable. There is I even can imagine in my life that I'm doing something and they didn't know or don't know. There is no way. So I'm fully coachable.
You stayed coachable, aligned, and you built a massive organization already. And look at what happened now. You guys have actually made a major decision in your life. Is that true?
Yes, because actually the one words of my leaders, they told actually they constantly telling us, you guys, you have big opportunity in the Russian market. You speak Russian. You grew up in Moscow. Maybe you have to think about kind of places with Russian speaking. I hate it because. Yes, I grew up in Moscow, but I don't like the, communication with Russian people. So, but they
Wow.
yes, now I love it, yes. So, yes, I know. So basically, I just trust them.
You made the decision to move
Yes.
from here to Sacramento to build there because you have
Yes, that was how crazy. I don't believe in it. So, but we did it because first everything you're gonna trust. They say you can do it, and I thought, okay, if they see it, it means yes, I can do it. So
What's going on in Sacramento now?
full explosion. So so we kind of the all orientation just help people, and that's truly that. I love my team. I love my team in about 12 active people. We have more, but 12 are active people. We have people in a lead, we have people in a license. Yeah, of course. We actually have marketing director there. We promote them to the marketing directors. They're like 25 years in the industry of finance. So they're running for SMD already. So they're fired up. They're meeting people and they need it.
So look at this, right? Multiplication. They came, they learned, right? And now they've completely, separated, gone on their own and building the same path. But so Edward and Michelle have multiplied themselves pretty
Yes,
much. It's amazing. Give them a big hand. Congratulations, you guys. That's amazing. You multiply yourself, right? Every person that you duplicate, that you train on what you know, you have now created another version of you. Makes sense? So doing the right thing is important. Next, ready for more?
Yes.
So is there an exciting, friendly, entrepreneurial environment to help you build your business? Yes? Yes? Absolutely. Look at all we don't just do business. We become family. We become friends, right? We travel together. We have the trip coming up. We're all going to go together. We've gone to so many amazing places together, you guys. And it's a fun environment. Even just our Mozone alone is a fun environment. Is that right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Is there back office support for legal, compliance, accounting, product development, due diligence, and product negotiation? Can you imagine if you started a business of your own, you had to think about all these things on your own? I have to have an accounting department, legal department, marketing department, right? Product development department, all these things, and you have to pay money for every single one. Now we have an office in Atlanta, Georgia, over 300 people working there, right? To do all of this, the licensing, everything that you could think of as far as administration part, even the payroll, all that is handled through the back office, and we don't pay them a dime. When you become as soon as you become a CEO, they actually even give you your own personal assistant, right? So when you call, you don't even wait on hold. You have your own concierge service. You call, right? Every single CEO has one person assigned to them. Because sometimes when you call WFG, how long is the wait? Quite a bit, right? Why? Because there's 40,000 people calling. You call your own assistant, you know how long it takes to pick up? One ring. Do I pay her? No. Is that crazy? It's insane. And anything you need, something doesn't make sense, there's confusion here, there, you just give them the information, boom, max, the next day they call you back with the resolution. I don't pay her. Her name is Molly. I've met her once when we went to visit home office. You met her? Oh, that's awesome. She is nice. All right. Now, next one, 16. Are there major events with training and recognition and help to lift you and your team to the top?
Yes.
Think about this. Company has hired some of the major influencers to come and train us, like John Maxwell. How many of you have heard of John Maxwell? Right? John Maxwell actually was on board with WFG. He had actual 12-week courses. Some of you may have not been here at that time, but he had 12-week courses trained by John Maxwell, specifically hired for WFG. We've had Tom Hopkins. How many of you have heard of Tom Hopkins?
Yes.
Right? We've had, anybody, we've even had Condoleezza Rice come to our events to train about leadership. Right?
Yes.
Think about this, you guys. All these crazy influencers that are making an impact in the community, in the country, in the world. We have access to them all because WFG puts them in front of us. Would you have access to these people by yourself?
No.
Probably not, right? We had Tony Robbins. Oh man, some of us were there together, right? With Zephyr Flora, Edward, Michelle, Susie was there. It was insane. Right? Tony Robbins, full day. It was just crazy. People paid thousands of dollars to go see him. Right? And we got to see him for free. All because of WFG. Next. Are there major trips to the great places of the world where even the newest leaders can qualify to attend?
Yes.
You guys sound so excited.
We're going to Armenia.
Energy's everything. If you're not excited about this, how excited are you to talk to the people? Man, I'm scared for you. Literally. All right, look at this. We have Hawaii. Even the newest person can go to Hawaii because they've extended the list of people that could qualify. They make qualifications that you don't have to be an SMD to go. Right? Every year, my family has been to every single one, 14 years in a row, right, to Hawaii trips. They have Ireland trip this year as well, right? Those are for SMBs and above. But we have our internal trips. You know, we have the Armenia trip, we have Cancun trips, all kinds of stuff. So again, it's all to bring everybody together. Now, next one. Will someone who is wildly successful mentor and coach you to the top?
Yes.
I mean, what's elite, right?
Yes.
You get the top company individuals, CEOs and above, $1 million plus earners that come on this very stage to help you grow, right? Just next elite, which will be on the 21st of September, we're gonna go see Penny Oy. Penny Oy is a $5 million earner, the top female earner in the entire company. We're gonna have an intimate setting. It's not gonna be at a convention in front of 40,000 people. It's just gonna be a few hundred, right? With her team and us. And we're gonna get direct coaching from a person that is an absolute giant in this business and one of the most humble and incredible individuals you will ever meet. Where do you find something like that, you guys? When was the last time somebody at a corporate office came and said, hey, you know, I got to the top and I'm gonna spend the next 6 years of my life to help you and train you? When? Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen, right? Next one. Can you share in a percentage of the entire company revenue back to day one?
Yes.
You don't know that? You should know that. Yes, right? Once you get to a, you know, and especially once you get to an EC level, you actually get a bonus pool from the entire company's profits. That's crazy. Imagine 75,000 licensed agents and you have a piece of that. What would you rather have? 100% of your effort or a percentage of 75,000 people? Should you be a little bit more excited, you guys?
Yes.
I'm just gonna shake some of this. All right, next one. Can you team up with your spouse and build a business together? Right? Most corporate places don't allow you to work with even relatives, right? Forget spouse. If they know you're related, you're fired. Is that true? And those that date each other, they do it in secret, right? Crazy office gossip and all that. Man, that's been one of the greatest things that we get to build is Jack and I side by side. How many of you are here as a, you know, with your spouse? Raise your hand. Man, how many of you don't have a spouse? Come on. Why? Because I'm actually working with Cindy Tolley, Rich Tolley's wife. Right? I've been communicating with her on a weekly basis. Like each conversation is like an hour long, you guys. Cindy and I were working on a couples retreat program, something that we're going to get all the couples in the team, and she's actually going to coach you on how to work with your spouse and what you could do to, again, get your business moving forward. Because we understand that when you have some, and again, you know, it doesn't mean if you're not a couple you're not going to make it, but it's just she's done it with her spouse for all these years, so she's going to give the tips to the rest of the couples. Makes sense? It's absolutely amazing. So if you don't have one, get one as soon as you can. So you can that's what I meant. So you can
Really?
Makes sense?
No, get a new one or the old one?
Get a new one.
No.
Fire them.
Alright. How much time do I have?
Get a new one or the old one?
Okay. So we're almost done. Now, another one, that's a good question. Can you start part-time? Absolutely, you can start part-time. Nobody's going to ask you to ever quit what you're doing. Does that make sense? If you ever choose to do this full-time, it will be whose decision? Yours. Nobody will ever make you quit and do it full-time. Do you need a college degree?
No.
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 Why? Because, you know, college degree doesn't necessarily say too much because all that person was good at essentially was memorizing data. Does that make sense? We don't teach people just to be book smart. We teach them how to be street smart, kind of say, in a sense. Does that make sense? So everything is trained. Everything that you need to know is trained one step at a time. Makes sense? Every step of the way. You're always going to have coaching that is going to tell you how to run the business, what to do, what not to do, right? And again, by being aligned, as so many of our leaders mentioned already, you're always going to have that guide that's going to guide you. Go this way or go this way, and they're always going to guide you in the right direction. Next one. Are there minimum quotas? Right? Most financial institutions, especially if you're licensed, obviously, you have a quota that you got to meet. Right? And if you don't meet the quota, 2-3 months back to back, what are they going to do to you?
Fire.
Promote you? No. They're going to fire you. Is that true?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was the case in my bank. Every time, you know, one of our investment reps, you know, they would wait only 2 months. 2 months later, they didn't meet the quota, they were out. They would bring somebody that knew how to sell better. Makes Makes sense? So quotas, and then they would terminate and cancel your appointments and all that stuff with the companies that you work with. Does Transamerica put on a quota?
No.
Does the BFG have a quota on you? No, right? They just give you a bunch of incentives if you actually do produce, because you want to produce and make money. Is that true? Yes. Can you pass your business to future generations?
Yes.
That's a good business. If I could pass this down to my kids, I'm more excited to build it. If I know I'm going to do it and do it and do it, and eventually I'm going to just not have anything to take with me, I'm not that excited. Is that true? But I'm so excited that Jack and I, every day we get up, we're just energized, fired up, right? Pumped up. Like, man, this is our kids' future. We get to leave this behind. It's exciting, you guys. Is it unlimited in terms of growth in income, team size, and size?
Yes.
100% yes. No one will ever stop you or take this, away from you and say, no, you're getting too big. I'm going to take some of it away from you. No. This is completely, you're just an agent code in a system. Makes sense? Anything that's built with that is yours. True?
Yes.
And last one, can you retire but continue to grow your business and income?
Yes.
Yeah. Bart, the individual that I mentioned, he's been retired for more than 13 years. And he still makes over $500,000. Retired. So he just once in a while shows up to conventions and he only goes to the gala. Yeah, you see him, he shakes your hand, right? We've had him in our office. How many of you have met him?
Yes.
We're gonna bring him back again. Right? He travels too much. It's hard to get this man to stay in one place too long. But it's crazy. He's retired, but he still gets passive income again. Is that okay to be almost at 80 years old and make $500,000 in passive income?
But does he still have to have his license active?
Yes, of
Okay.
course. Yeah. All he has to do is every 2 years renew his license. And he doesn't even have to take the test, right? You just pay this renewal fee and you're done. Is that crazy? Now, are those good questions?
Yes.
Those are good questions. Anything
Yes.
away from 26, the ones that I shared, are lousy questions. And if you're asking about the business and you're wondering, those are lousy questions. If everything here you just confirm that it's a yes, then this is a great business that's worth your best effort.
Yes.
Makes sense? But look at this, you guys.
Yes.
Our company does the best job for the customer, right? Absolutely 100% believe in that. It's the most level, fair playing field, meaning it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter who you know. There's no politics involved. It's level, fair playing field, meaning everybody that's at the top has been where you are. And everybody starts at the bottom. You can't come here and say, well, you don't know what I used to do in my country. I used to be president's right hand. Great, good job. You're going to start as a trainee. Right? You guys know that, right? Has the greatest income potential of any organization. Close to $1 billion commission has been paid to the field. That's insane. The question is how much of that is going to go into your bank account, right? I'm going to skip this one. This is why we're the best business platform. Okay, sure. Hurry. I'm going to make sure I show you the last slide.
Okay.
All these things are available in WFG. All of them. And there's so much more, but there's no room to put it. All right, next. So what do you need to win big? This is what you need to win big, you guys. You got to understand these things, and you got to feel good and believe in these things if you want to win. Because if you don't understand it, and if you don't feel good or you don't believe in it, no matter how much training you get, you will never make it. Is that true?
Yes.
You gotta understand it first and foremost, and if something doesn't make sense, you gotta ask the right questions to figure it out. All right? And you gotta feel good about it, right? You can't be ashamed. There's like, they go up to Jack, what should I say when they ask me what's the name of the company? Jack's like, what's the name of the company? World Financial Group. So what should you answer when they ask you what's the name of the company? Well, you gotta feel good about what you do. You can't be hiding it or just, I hope they don't ask me what I do. What do you mean? You gotta be proud of this. If somebody is ignorant and thinks that this is not good, that's on them. That has nothing to do with you. Makes sense? Be proud. All right? Feel good, believe, and explain to others. You gotta understand and feel good about our company. Do your research. Do the right research. Go to the right source. Go look at Aegon's, standing. Go look at Transamerica standing. Go look at, all the financial institutions that get rated. Go look at the rating of our company. Feel good about it with the facts, not just how good you feel emotionally. Facts are important. Does that make sense? Right? right? Our products and services. You gotta understand our products, you gotta understand our services, especially if you're licensed, right? And you can't just say, well, they don't teach any products in the office. Yes, we do advanced classes, and there's webinars, right? Chandler, all of them talked about, this is the technology era. You don't have to wait for somebody to come give you information. It's just at a tip of your fingertip. Is that true?
Yeah.
Webinars, constantly, all the time, teaching products and training. But the best way you're gonna learn is on the field. You could watch all the videos you can. You could attend all the classes, but if you're not in the field with the trainer, you will never know how to run this business. Is that true?
Yes.
You gotta feel good about our compensation and promotion system. Understand the compensation. Man, I remember Jack was obsessed with the compensation when we started. He studied that thing left and right. He was constantly jotting down, like figuring things out. So if this happens, this, like all the time. He was obsessed with the compensation because he was just so excited of the potential of how much money could be made here through helping other people. All right? Do you understand the promotion? Sometimes we ask people, who wants to be a CEO in a company? Everybody raises their hands. And I say, okay, so do you know what the qualifications are to get to CEO? Majority of hands go down. You will never get there unless you know how. Should you know the promotional guidelines? Absolutely. Right? Should you know our business system?
Yes.
How many steps?
6.
How long should it take you to master those 6 steps? Exactly. You should know the 6 steps, right? You should learn and study the business system manual. That's literally everything, the 30, 40, 50, 100 years of experience has been put into that one little tiny book. And if you master and understand it, you could run a massive business, right? It's dumb-proof, you guys, honestly. But most importantly, if you don't understand and feel good about you, doesn't matter how good you know the products, doesn't matter how good you know the company, you still will not do anything. And that's why in Elite, our first session is helping people discover the you in them. That's what's going to happen today. That's why I said people are going to be different, so when you see them next time. It's going to be incredible. Does that make sense? So become the right you. And this is Monty Holmes' favorite quote. He says, that which dominates your thinking will determine the outcome of your life. Ask yourself that question all the time. What am I thinking about? What am I focused about? What am I thinking about right now? And most of the time you'll catch yourself that you're thinking about things that don't serve you. And if you're aware of it, you could stop it, you could switch it, and you could change it. Right? Change it with something that does serve you. Whatever dominates your thinking will determine the outcome of your life. So if you're not happy with your life, monitor your thoughts. Realize, the mistake that's happening there. You think the right thoughts, you take the right action. You think the wrong thoughts, you take no action. Is that true?
Yes.
That's it, you guys. Thank you so much.